Josias.
This is a mastermind brainstorm session.
This podcast is brought to you by Emotional Damage. Welcome, everybody. This is the Joe Science Experience. Today, we're going to have a brainstorming session and discuss something really, really interesting. So, first, we will do some introductions. We'll start with Angelique, Magdalena, and Tony, and then we'll get into the conversation. All right, take it away.
Hi, everyone.
Go on.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to co-create today. My name's Angèle, and I'm in Canada. I'm an empowerment coach,
Oh, it's
motivation.
Angel. I'm sorry. It's Angel.
Oh, I'm not attached to my name. It's French, and so I don't expect everyone to have a French accent. Yes, and so I'm excited to co-create and see what magic we get to share today to inspire others to be their best selves and to spread joy and love and gratitude and whatever else is meant to be created in the space. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, Angel, so I'm guessing you're Magdalena.
Very close. Yes, very nice. You actually said it correctly. It's Magdalena, actually. But yes, when you go into a different country, it's probably Magdalena. So very nice. Thank you so much, guys. It's super nice to be here. I'm actually really intrigued what this is going to be because Joe was very, very quiet about the format of what this is. But it's nice to be here. I'm a brand strategist, but I call myself the brand identity decoder because my brand is called The Marketing Rebel. It's all about creating unmistakable standout brands online, going against the trends, and building super strong, super identity-driven audiences. So this is what I do. It's super cool to be here with you today and find out why the heck are we today?
We'll soon find out. And let's go to Tony.
Okay, hi. My name is Tony. I'm from the Philippines, so it's already 11 o'clock in the evening here. And so good evening if I'm talking to someone here in the Philippines. Introductions. I always like to introduce myself with my identity rather than what I do. So I've been thinking a lot on how I really want to introduce myself to people. And one of the words that I'd like to describe myself is a disruptor. Because for some reason, it all made sense when I identified that word, because it all made sense that whenever I go unintentionally or sometimes intentionally, I disrupt spaces, like maybe out of my curiosity or maybe out of just things that doesn't make sense. Everything that comes out in my mouth, it always for some reason stirs other people, so it can either land comfortably or against them. But the moment that I used to take it, like with Joe, I used to take it personally a lot, and it made sense, like, is there something wrong with me? Like, why do I always create chaos? Then I just realized that I'm that's me. That's even, because even without doing anything, I disrupt spaces. So that's how I would like to introduce myself. And at the same time, I'm a self-directed learner. I do work in the education industry, so a part of my advocacy is both in education and also in life coaching.
Beautiful. We need to work on that intro. Eleanor, please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone. I am an author and course creator and so many things. I would say I'm a creative and I'm an artist. And I live in Toronto. That's it.
Okay, all right, cool. So we got a mixture here of some philosophical intros, and then we got some professional intros. Let's get into it. Let's see what we wind up here with. The topic today is, I've been listening to CD5 of Tony Robbins' Personal Power, and he talks about, I think the word is what is the word? Fulfillment frameworks, I think. Fulfillment vehicles, fulfillment framework. Basically, we'll start with this phrase to begin. The core idea is, you might think you're sabotaging yourself, but you're really just trying to meet your need. So what does that bring to you? Anybody, you can start. Anybody, just whoever goes first, and then we'll go around the table.
If you don't mind, it's very much up my alley,
Absolutely.
especially for the people that I work with. A lot of the times we have an impression that we need to hide certain aspects of ourselves. And in fact, that has been taught for a very long time. I believe even through Tony Robbins that my mess is my message, right? And what I believe as people right now, especially with the climate, and we are going through a very heavy week, as you all know, there's a lot of things that have happened. We are being pushed towards hiding our true identity. And this is not the best way to do things, because the more we hide our identity, the more the very loud voices that are not necessarily good or responsible or self-accountable with how they present themselves are actually damaging those that are listening to us. So the more we retract and the more we not allow ourselves to be ourselves and to present ourselves with all of our viewpoints and everything that we have to say, the more we're giving way to what is lack of values, mediocrity, and dangerous narratives, essentially.
And then, with that being said, I'll introduce the framework for the meeting, which is basically a brainstorming session. We're just gonna brainstorm. So this initial session will be just what are your thoughts that are provoking you from the question or the statement. Don't worry about being perfect. Just share us your thoughts, and try to be brief, just like Magdalena did. Excellent example. All right, let's go to Angel.
Yes, Magdalena, I'd like to add, beautifully said. And I think when it comes from a space, I think part of the problem we're experiencing in the world at the moment is, yes, people are being themselves more and more. However, sometimes it comes from a place of ego. Sometimes it comes from a place of I'm better than you. Sometimes it comes from a place of I need to change you. When we work on ourselves and we come to that space of I'm okay with who I am and you get to be who you are. But when it comes with integrity and love and really coming from a space of understanding and compassion, that's where the magic meets true identity meets world change. And so that's what I wanted to add to your beautiful practical way, but also adding that love and really not from but being it and truly concentrating on what you can change.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
All right, Eleanor's raising her hand.
So, I agree with everything that was said, but I would like to add that some people or some group of people still have to hide, because you can only be yourself in an environment that are allowed to be yourself and that was built for you to be yourself. And for example, we live in a world that was built by men for men from the lens of men. So women from like ages have to adapt and not necessarily be themselves. And again, if we are taking this, the word was also built for a certain group of people, and therefore those who didn't belong to that group of people had to hide or had to like in order to protect themselves, they were not allowed to be themselves. And even if now we are people saying we show as ourselves, but when we show the ego, it's not ourselves, because if you really go into yourself, it's not the ego. The ego is what social media says, what the narrative says, what the media. So that's not you. It's a mask as well. It's something else. So I do believe that being ourselves is actually really, really difficult, because to be ourselves, we need to understand ourselves in a very extensive way, and allow everything and the spectrum of light and darkness and everything that comes with, and which take a lot of time.
Go to Tony.
Yeah, I'd like to add on what Eleanor said. It really resonates in my part that, as I mentioned before, I felt that something was wrong with me, but until I discovered that I was just being in the wrong environment, that's when I really discovered my identity. Because, as they say, your social circle, your friends, your environment might not be your social circle. At some point, they will be your cage. So it's identifying if it's already caging you, and yeah, the importance of how supportive and how you realize that if your environment is the one that's limiting your growth or really helping you identify your authentic self is really important. So it's very easy to say to just be yourself, but for some people, they have to survive as well.
Beautiful. Okay. Yeah, that's good. I like how you completed Eleanor's point. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, wrong environment. This is why I
Do
love
you
talking.
mind, do you mind, Joe, if I play a devil's advocate here? Because I actually agree with every single speaker here, but every single thing that they said has a downside to it, unfortunately.
Drama. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's
That's
go.
my whole brand, baby.
We
Drama,
welcome
drama.
it. Let's go. Disrupt us.
Yeah, so starting with Anjali, absolutely. She mentioned about not going from a place of ego, and I completely agree. Unfortunately, what is the predicament or the predisposition of what is happening right now in the world is that we are unprepared or unwilling to open up to other people from a place of full authenticity and heart. And that is just because of that fear of backlash, right? Because there's other sides attacking, one side attacking other sides, us versus them. My truth is bigger than your truth. My point of view is better than your point of view. And unfortunately, people are not in the mind frame, most of them, not all of them. There are some wonderful people, which I'm sure are in this room today, which are able to understand that nothing is black or white. Everything has a nuance to it, everything has a caveat to it. And if we are unable to see those differences from different points of view, we are unable to be balanced enough to get into that conversation and understand sometimes that somebody is not coming from a place of ego. Like, for example, let's say me and my brands, we are very disruptive, by the way, Tony. We are very rebellious. We go against the trends, and sometimes that could be taken as an attack. So if you are not evolved enough, which I'm going to now go to Eleanor because she said it beautifully, if you are not evolved enough, if you don't know yourself enough as a respondent, not so much as a person who is speaking their opinion, but as a respondent, you are going to take it very, very personally because you're not grounded yet within that evolved version of yourself to understand, hey, this is not personal. This is not a personal attack towards me. This is somebody's point of view, and I may respond to it with my own point of view, or I can just sit there and attack them. So it's a case of, the approach and the level of which we are going into a conversation with. And with Tony, absolutely brilliant. Getting outside of your norms. We have a tendency to go into echo chambers so much right now, and just building echo chambers of yes people that are just nodding like, yeah, yes, I love what you said. Oh, this is so amazing. This is so beautiful. And we kind of push away the people with different opinions, which makes us stay stuck at a level without the ability to actually evolve to that beautiful level that Eleanor described and when she was speaking.
Nice. Okay.
I'd
Yeah.
like to add, Magdalena, that we are here. There are some people in this space at this time on Earth that are those light keepers and are actually meant to hold that space for everyone who are not ready, who are, and really elevate everyone to the next level. So I think this is a collective, my personal heart on that. And so it is possible when everyone when the right people in the right space, there's no right or wrong, but the heart-centered, powerful, everyone here today, for example, who we can tilt that and create that for others who may not see it at the moment.
Nice, beautiful. Okay, let's get into the driving force matrix. I don't know if some of you might know this. It's where you have the quadrant, and then something that feels good and is good for you, for the world, then something that doesn't feel good but is good for you, then something that doesn't feel good and it's not good. That's the last one. And then something that feels good but it's not good for you. So whatever that brings up for you, let's have you seen this pattern before, by the way, this framework? No? Tony? Eleanor has? Okay, Eleanor. So start us up with this one. Yeah, something you can either
So,
you can either talk about
uh,
or you can just jump into, whatever.
is it like from my personal experience or from what I'm observing as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So, something that feel good, but it is not good for you, I would say, is the culture of convenience that we have built, that we have chosen as a society, and not only convenience but also immediate satisfaction, because you guys talked about like globally it is like a lot of things happened this week and in the recent month as well. And I agree to that. And because all of this is also culturally, that's what we choose to, even if we don't adhere to what we see, but globally, because we are human, we still choose that because otherwise we would have like done something about it. So I would say this, like it really feel good, but it's not good for you because not only it atrophies some skills or some soft skills that we have forgotten, and like for example, putting the effort into something that it's like really forgotten. And I know personally because when I started my business, I thought, oh, it will just happen magically like that without putting a lot of too much work into it. And I had to wake up to the reality that baby, it doesn't work like that. You have to work and you have to grind. And sometimes you will put amazing product out there and it will not work, and you still have to continue. So the perseverance and the resilience that we lost with all those feel good but not good for you, it only I feel like we have changed from long-term view to short-term memory, and we only see what's good for me right now, but what's good for you right now is not what's going to feel good for you in 5 years or 10 years from now. And that's, yes, immediate gratification, Tony. Like it really, I feel that's what we are missing right now. And I'm including myself into that analysis as well. Like, and really, I had with my business, I had to build what doesn't feel good right now for me, but is good for me. It's like the discipline, the habit of really building a routine, because I very much hide behind, oh, but I'm a creative, I'm an artist. So it's normal. I don't follow the rules. I don't follow the discipline all over the place. But if you want a business, of if you want something to work, you still have to follow a certain routine, a certain discipline, right? So I would say that, and I will stop here because I don't want to monopolize the time. Yeah, that's it. But there is so much to share on this topic.
All right, Tony, what you got?
Me? Well, I totally agree with Eleanor about on the topic of feel good but not good for you. It's essentially immediate gratification. I could start with easiest would be fitness,
Mm.
like exercise is. But that's the whole point
So
because
that's so that's so that's the other one. That's one that one doesn't feel good necessarily, but
yeah, but we know that it's very good for us. Yes. It's definitely the reason that you would do it. It's if you lock in the bigger goal. Like at 7 years old, I still want to move. I still wanna be mobile. So I think I can speak on behalf of my country. Like right now, the issue is we are very like we easily remember. We easily forget the bad things that the politicians are if you're very updated the corruption in our country. So the thing is we keep on electing people who were already charged or even went to jail, but because we are known for, how do they say it, like short term, like we easily forget and we focus on the immediate gratification, like what do they give right now, but the long term, it's like every like, and of course like my frustration is showing like it's so hard for people to think long-term effects. So that's why we have not yet really progressed, as I would say it. That yeah, that's a problem when you have immediate gratification, focusing too much on the now. It has cons, being grounded in the present, focusing the now. Of course, too much of being like someone mentioned about something, there's no right or wrong. Yeah, because what I ultimately believe in is there's no right or wrong, only what works. So some strategies, some beliefs, they work if we focus on the goal. Maybe religion would work at some context, but not in all. So it's basically no right, no wrong. So I'm not failing, I'm not whatever, but does it work? It doesn't work, change strategy. So that's the ultimate statement that I always adhere to. There's no right or wrong, only what works.
beautiful.
And
Okay.
that's
All right. Anybody want to share something something that we have two missing, which is like something that is bad for you, feels bad for us, and is bad for us, and something that is good for us and feels good. Who wants to take the bad one, and who wants to take the bad, and who wants to take the good?
Contrarian view. Okay. I am going to disagree that there is no good, that there's no right way and the wrong way. There is a wrong way. By all means, there is a wrong way, and I'm going to say why. And that is going to be spoken from the place of leadership and self-accountability. Again, I know I'm going to be banging on about this, but I'm very much upset about everything that's been happening. So this is on my mind. So this is something that I've been thinking about quite a lot. And because we are somehow public-facing, all of us having personal brands or coaching or authorship or any sort of role that is facing towards other people, we also have a very high level of responsibility of what we do and what we say. And I'm going to speak to what's bad and is bad. I'm the negative one here. Am I not? No, a little bit.
Jeez,
I don't want to be
Magdalena, why you gotta be so negative?
It's a negative.
I
No,
thought
but
we
there's
were
good coming out of it. There's good coming out of it. What I'm trying to make a point about is sometimes things that we feel that are good for us are actually very bad for us on a logical level, but we do them anyway because they provide that immediate gratification in the form of clout, let's say, or in a form of attention, or in a form of steering some shit, because that's what is noticed. That is what is actually for us as public facing people. This is something that works, right? And I'm a marketer at heart. I love marketing. I think it's a form of art, but it's also a form of really, really intense manipulation. So we have to be very self-accountable, very responsible how we speak to people, which I feel is not the case. And oftentimes what it breeds aggression, it breeds disrespect, and it creates situations that are completely unnecessary on a global scale, not only in our immediate facing audience, but also on a more global scale, because we are shaping narratives, we are shaping thought patterns in people. So even though deep down inside, from a human or moral level, we might know that something is bad, but because there is some form of gratification in that bad, we continue with the bad, which breeds even more negative outcomes out of it. I'm gonna shut up now.
Angeli, take the good. What's something that is good for us and feels good also to do?
Well, I'll come back to that in a sec, but I want to add that we need that contrast. We need those extremes. We need those bads for ourselves to self-correct, to be in that space where we begin again. Because if we go from we never make mistakes, and then it turns into perfection, and so if you are responsible, you're using the word responsible a lot, Magdalene. If you're responsible for yourself and what you put out there, and you're accountable to your words, to your actions, to your thoughts, to your intentions, there is never any bad from that sense. I get it. Very bad things happen in the world, and I'm not going to close my eyes to that. However, we do have that capability of seeing it as a contrast, and it enables us to change things. So it stirs something in us. Like I see your passion and then that fire, it stirs change. And so I would say yes. Then coming to the positives, there is always positives, even in those experiences, in those life experiences. Any negative thing you experience, I will say that it's just an opportunity to reframe, an opportunity to try again, an opportunity to reset and look at what you're doing, what you're putting out there. And yeah, that's where the magic happens. That's where the quantum leaps happen globally, personally, but it's that responsibility and knowing where you're coming from. And so I'm in a healthcare setting and transformational mindset setting. And so it may be different than marketing, but at the same time, it isn't, because humans are humans, and anywhere. Eleanor, I'm in Ottawa and I'm driving to Toronto tonight. Regardless of where you, what business you're in, it comes from that space. And we need that contrast at times to stir things up in ourselves, in society, on all levels, to create that sustainable, loving change that we all, that positive space that we all seek to be as humans, loving and supportive and harmonious, and where everyone has a space safely. But in order to get there, sometimes we need that rash chaos to lead change. I'll leave it at that.
Bet.
As long as you're in that space, as long as you're in that space, because we need to be realistic as well. We're not all loving. We're not all going to love each other. We're not all going to approach things from the place of, putting ego aside. And there's some people who abuse that in a very specific way, and it's intentional. And unfortunately, it doesn't always come from a good place. But yes, I do agree that
I think
everything can be turned to the good.
if everyone has enough, like the leaders have enough, we can tilt that scale. I really see that. But it's again that person taking responsibility, those people who are not responsible.
I have something to add with it with regards, like, very quick. The concept of good and bad, it all boils down to beliefs, because it all boils down to morality. Like, who says who says that what you did is bad or good? It depends. If we're going to go back to creation, like Ten Commandments, that's one of the bases of people what's good and bad. But essentially, there are contrasts because we come from different beliefs. And ultimately, we have this saying in NLP that every behavior has a positive intention. Doesn't mean that it's helpful ecologically, but that person thought that what his behavior was, he had a positive intention. Even if I go back, connect it with politics, that politician had positive intention of probably self-preservation, but not necessarily ecologically safe or positive for the environment. So, yeah, who says, even with the positive or negative, I wouldn't say that you're negative, Magdalena, but who would say it's positive or negative? We're just like, stating facts or opinions, or like, it's already the judgment or the belief who said contradicting would be negative. That's how I would.
Let's start.
Coincidentally, I'm actually very positive, incredibly sarcastic, but I'm very positive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's start going in an interesting direction here. So I just want to summarize real quick what we have so far, and then but I want us to take the perspective of growth and contribution here. Sometimes, like right and wrong, okay, whatever. You think you're right, you think you're wrong, or whatever. Let's take the perspective of growth and contribution. And how can I serve the panel? How can I serve the other people here? And also, how can I grow? So instead of if you see it, if you like Magdalena, if you want to disagree just for disagreeing, that's cool. But everybody else, like if for example, if Magdalena says something that you disagree with, see, like, can I learn from this? Or do I want to push back lovingly, but not like just to express your significance. Like, let's go from growth and contribution. But let me just summarize here real quick. So every behavior has a positive intention. I will pair that with, man, what's going on here? Yeah, for some reason my screen is not coming up as anyways, just leave it like that because I'm supposed to be the man, but
You are pinned here. You're the one that you have the biggest
it keep
face in
oh wait, did my screen come up? Oh, for me it
the
didn't. Yeah,
spotlight.
for me it didn't. I don't know. Anyways, we'll work on that. I'm
Don't
so
worry, it stick out anyway, sort of.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, so I heard this other phrase that I learned a few years ago. It's called "a belief's purpose is its use." So we can pair that together. Like Tony said earlier, she says there's no right or wrong, only what works. And then so if a belief's purpose is its use, and then use is subjective. So and then when we're talking about environments and stuff, and like if you feel like limited by your environment, this is why I love traveling so much. Because if I feel limited by my environment, then I just take a plane and go somewhere. It's fine, it's completely fine. I'm not gonna sit around, oh, you guys don't believe in me. No, I just leave. It's fine. Like I'll go somewhere else and I'll find new people find a new tribe. What else we got here? So marketing is intense manipulation. That's tough right there.
It
Shaping.
can be. It's not. I believe it's not. But me, right? That's
There,
just
there's
my voice
there's level
against.
there's levels to it. There's levels to it. Like there's like really really great propaganda. Like you got propaganda. You have like at high levels. Yeah, it's super. Like psychological operation. Those are real. You can't tell me they're not. So
No, yeah, yeah, but it's also an amazing form of art. It can be used for good by all means. But again, we're coming back to that intention. Who is this used by?
right, exactly. Success is our greatest enemy sometimes. Success can reinforce be like a behavior. But if you're like when we start looking into our own success, let's say we were doing really good, but then we have really bad habits, and now we think our bad habits are good because we just had success. And then we don't know that something is killing us like from the inside. There are certain things that we got to look at these things too. Integrity and love. My mess is my message. wrong body, wrong environment. Like we already talked about that. And so, okay, in the Tony Robbins city, Tony Robbins talks about that the ideal thing is we want to move tier two things to tier one. And those are the things that are good for us, are good for our environment, and are good for others, but may not necessarily good for you. May not necessarily feel good or feel amazing to do. Move those to tier one. And how do we do this? We associate pleasurable parts to them, or we make them pleasurable. So on this round, let's talk about how do we make those things that may not necessarily feel good to feel good. And then this goes into a deeper question: how do we do the things that we know we need to do even when we don't want to do them?
I'll jump
Visualization. Sorry, Anjali, go on.
Yeah, go
Sure.
ahead.
I was going to say I'll start because that's my jam. I think when it comes from, again, I'm very big on responsibility, and what I mean by that is really owning there is no right or wrong because it's what is right for you is, but really being responsible with your feelings, with your intentions, and what your goals are. And so since we're talking about goals here, and so yes, those visualizations that putting yourself that feeling in the future, what will that bring? And I think consistency, moment by moment, and really little consistent daily habits. And this is where the perfection comes in. If we come from a space of, I see so many of my clients are like, they're like, okay, I'm going to do this for 30 days. And they start, and after 3, they're like, they stop, and then they say, see, I can't do it. And so coming back to, we're human, you're not perfect, giving yourself a chance to begin again, and then recognizing that, okay, this is my bigger purpose. I can't move a mountain with one shove. And so moment by moment, consistent, responsible, daily actions that are possible. And obviously there it's more complex than that. Connecting that with your higher vision, your higher purpose. I'm a triathlete, and so sometimes I don't feel like running. And then when I tune into,
So
okay, I have a
nonchalant with it. I'm a triathlete, and then you just
no,
keep
but I also what I mean is I also have moments where I don't feel like going for my long run. And what the minute I'm out running, it feels amazing. And so there are things, even for people who do like running, for example, I do it often and I'm human. And so recognizing that it's not just, oh, I'm perfect. No, it's recognizing that I'm having one of those days and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it anyways. And the minute, of course, I'm on my out there running, it feels amazing. And then it's connecting it to your bigger purpose, your vision, and say, I did it. Maybe it wasn't as long, maybe it wasn't my best friend, but I did it. And so celebrating, and so again, consistency, and I can go on, but that's what I want to bring to. So responsibility, consistency, being integrous with yourself and your vision, and what's good for you may not be good for someone else. And those daily small actions that do become positive, like you just spoke into, when you tune in and you assess where you're at and what's working and what's not working.
Beautiful. Yeah. So what I got from that was consistent daily habit and also acceptance of the status quo. Because you may have like a goal that you want to achieve, but then you're not really accepting yourself, like maybe like self-love, and you're like giving yourself the energy that you need and caring for yourself and stuff. You may be, and also one more thing I want to add to that. You're like, oh, I'm not perfect. Somebody once said that the most beautiful people have the ugliest problems. Sometimes. No, I'm just saying, maybe so. All right, who wants to go next? Who wants to follow that up?
Yeah, so oh, sorry, Eleanor, you wanted to? I just wanted to kind of very, very quickly, I'm going to be super brief because it's something to what Anjali has actually said. Aside of those little habits, because a lot of the times we kind of, yeah, we can start doing it, which starting is the hardest. And even though we do get into the habit of learning new things, there are those moments where you kind of sit with yourself and say, no, you're not going to do that. You know, your brain's kind of like a little bit attacking you. It's like, oh no, you're shit. You're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to be able to survive. You're not going to be able to do X, Y, Z. And what I usually do, and this has been working for me fantastically, is staying in a constant state of awe and curiosity. And I'm going to bring it down to very, very much for the understanding of it. You know, when you go on a diet or you change your habits, like for example, I used to drink only coffee with sugar back in the day, and I could not imagine coffee without sugar because it was just so lovely, and the hit and the taste and it was incredible, up until I actually changed it and I reduced my coffee. I completely stopped using sugar, and at first it was absolutely disgusting and I could not take a sip, and it was absolutely revolting. I had a physical visceral reaction almost to that coffee. But after a while, I could not imagine drinking coffee with sugar again because my tastes have changed. But I allowed myself to stay in that state of constant curiosity. What if? What can happen if I allow myself to step out of my comfort zone? What if I try that new thing? What if I give myself the chance to explore and appreciate that newness? So this is something that I wanted to kind of like add on top of the layer of what Angeli beautifully said.
Beautiful, beautiful, and I love this. So now we're building together, and this is the main reason why I do this. We can actually build ideas together and get to a point of mutual understanding, and where we actually created a point. And then, so I want to introduce a quick framework here, before we continue, and that's the Mind Palace framework. Some of you have done this with me already, and this is the quickest thing I can illustrate. This is, you guys think of your childhood bedroom when you grew up. Let me know when you got it. Now take a framework that you're learning. For example, it could be something from today or something you're trying to learn, something from your study. You could do like consistent daily habits, acceptance of status quo, whatever. Just hold the framework and imagine it in your mind, and then associate a picture to it, an image that coincides with it and analogizes it, represents it. Yeah.
A fly, sorry.
just so actually grabbing the air.
I did. You can imagine that I did grab it, yeah.
Take the image and put it in your childhood bedroom. Do you see it? You see it? That is the Mind Palace. It's like comes from Sherlock Holmes, like the popularized version where like he would go into his mind palace and look for things like information that he needed, like different. This is a memory exercise. So what we can do is we can start building right here if we have a mind palace, and we could do like a habits room. We call it the H room. We could do the acceptance room. This room where you like accept all your flaws and you're like, oh, I love you in spite of, like that pimple you have on your foot, whatever. And what if I allow myself to step out of the comfort zone and embrace the newness? So we could have a room for like the newness. So here we can visually see where we're moving towards, instead of just logically follow each other, we can actually see it visually. So that's just a framework I want to. So far, we got consistent daily habits, acceptance of status quo, and what if I allow myself to step out of my comfort zone and embrace my newness? Who wants to follow that up?
I can. Since we're talking about triathlete and dieting, I would like to share that I was once when I suddenly decided to join a pageant, and pageants are very big in the Philippines, but it was very surprising in my circle. Like that was the last thing that I would not do. But of course, I was very competitive and I joined because I wanted to win. So I had to do everything that I needed to do, and I had to change my diet, get a coach, get a lot of coaches, got a lot of stuff. And the shift there was everyone was really surprised. They thought that I did not fit the kind of mold that they were expecting, but they were really surprised about the change. And I, of course, felt happy also with the change that I had. But at some point when that was like half a year of my life, and at some point when the competition ended and of course I won, I was like, I wanted to maintain the momentum of everyone was like, oh, giving me compliments, you changed like that, like that. But there was no reason for me anymore to have that kind of diet. But at the same time, I knew that nutrition and fitness was going to be good. First, it was like I was forcing myself, but at the same time, but along the run, I was finding what's sustainable. And that's where what I mentioned earlier, what works. So I no longer consist like lifting weights change into a different exercise. My diet also changed. I something that has flavor because I was eating like bland food, but now it's something sustainable. It's all about sustainability and something that I won't feel guilty about. I learned was really to practice self-compassion. Like it's okay that I eat chocolate or like drink some milk boba tea or something. And what I also realized was we don't need to bloom all year. Because at that point, I was really blooming. Like everyone was like surprised, and I didn't want to disappoint them that I'll go back to the pre-me. But I also know I couldn't sustain it. But that's what I realized. Like all seasons, we have winter, spring, summer. Like hey, I don't really need to bloom all year. And what I really need to practice is self-compassion. Like we all work in different seasons.
Yes.
So yeah, that's my take on it.
Yes, and we don't need to bloom all year. And I have a similar thing somebody else told me. It's like not every day has to be a highlight reel, because
Yeah.
like my thing is travel. Like I've been to 38 countries, 44 states.
Yeah.
And then like so I'm used to having this exciting life like living up here. But then when I'm living like here or even down here, I'm like, oh, my life sucks.
Yeah.
Like I don't I don't know what to do. I don't like this. Da, 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 da. But then my friends like, yeah, sometimes you gotta change the furnace, sometimes you got sometimes you gotta wash the dishes, sometimes you gotta what I'm saying? Like it's not always gonna be a highlight reel. But let's
Yes.
go ahead, Eleanor. You had something to say before we rudely interrupted you. I'm sorry.
No, I was really feeling what Tony says, like we don't need to bloom all year. This really resonate with me. And you added something like not every day has to be a highlight reels. Like it's very powerful because I also like lived a very active life. Let's just say that. I lived on 4 continents, like multiple country, and so when I came to Canada, I was like, and it's been a while now, and I'm like, it's boring. Like exactly, like I'm like, where is the excitement? Like, where is my next fix? Like I needed to, and then I decided to just pause and yeah, just pause and really I wanted to add something because Anjali and Magdalena, you guys share something, consistency, state of awe, and consistent curiosity. And throughout my life, I really I lived like really hell, and I have met like really monsters, and I grew up around monster. And the state of curiosity that you were talking about allow me to actually not every bad messenger I thought to myself, like even as a kid, even a bad messenger may have one or few tricks that I could use and that were worthy to try. And so I went on through my life, and even if I met a shitty person, I was always curious and excited, almost excited to see what I was going to learn about myself and to learn that from that person that will teach me something. So, and that's really like this state of curiosity allow me to be friend with people that are completely different from me. And one of them, I call him my best enemy. Like it's not my best friend, it's my best enemy because we are like completely different, but it allowed me to learn to love and respect someone that were completely different, because I thought to myself, and there are more people different from me in the world, and I still have to love them. So I may as well start early. I may as well start somewhere so I can someday be able to listen and to truly listen and respect someone that has completely different view that I think I cannot think like someone can think like that. But I think that's also how we learn to involve in ourselves when we surround ourselves with various people that think and do differently from us, that have different faith, different way of doing things and different background. So anyway, so like really I love that, like, and it really allow yourself to build the state of awe, because when you're in this state you come from a loving compassion and graceful place, a beautiful place, and no longer from ego oriented or like a judgmental space where, oh, someone doesn't think like me, it's not a yes, a yes man, so I cannot talk with them. And because I feel like we need friction in order to build and to involve in ourselves.
That's beautiful. And I think, what you said, Eleanor, is actually awesome because about the state of awe, it also allows both of you, Joe and you, Eleanor, you spoke about traveling. And I did do some traveling when I was younger as well. Now, I'm in the state of being a mom. So my life revolves mostly around my little boy. I cannot travel. I cannot allow myself to do certain things that I did But that state of awe is also doing something very important, that when and if those times come, when your life is not necessarily as exciting as it used to be when you were younger, single, and able to do certain things, you are able to see those little things as really exciting and as really fulfilling. So that state of awe allows you to appreciate the smaller things as opposed to those grandiose, amazing, super big things that we are accustomed to.
Yes, absolutely. The beach is my new one. Before it was like, oh, newness, newness. Like let's go out there. But now it's just like, let me just go to the beach and just chill a little bit. And then, but let's summarize a little bit, and then we'll get into the speed round. We've all pretty much like emptied out like the main thoughts that we wanted to say. But now the speed round is basically we're gonna do about a minute each. That way we can have like a speed round where we can like yell out a really good point and be sharp about it, and then move on and build together here. Sometimes we'll drone on and like talk too much, and then like the point, like the attention span, so everybody else will just be like, wait, okay, I like these points, but now it's like, okay, what is this new thing? So we want to be able to build together. So state of curiosity, my best enemy, I love that. Which is like, I forgot who said this, but somebody who said that there was somebody who died. It was like a billionaire, and then another billionaire lost their competitive spirit because they woke up every day checking up on what this person did, and then now this person's not there, and now like they have like no ambition because all they wanted to do was beat this guy. They just wanted to. So it's good to have an enemy, like a best enemy. Like I think there's an exercise, actually, a personal development exercise, where you have you actually dream up who will be like your counterpart, like your enemy, your rival, and then you picture that you're yourself as that person, and then you every day you wake up trying to beat this person every day. So I love that. And state of curiosity, state of awe. This is what I'm about. And then we'll go back to, I think it was Eleanor who said this in the beginning, and that's what got me real quick. It is that pause and breathe. Pause and breathe. And I think some of you need to do this more because you start talking and then you want to be perfect and stuff. See? Sometimes it's better to pause and breathe. If you feel like you're droning on a little bit, leave some room for nothingness, and then we can fill it all together. I think sometimes we don't trust because none of you know each other, so you don't really trust each other to like provide a valuable input. But we have.
I disagree with you, obviously, because I have to. I think we're doing very, very well in here. I think
Why,
all of us are actually building upon each other,
why are you so
and we've been doing
why are you so
fantastic.
why are you so feisty, Magdalena?
Joe, you're counting us because you want to limit us into just we're about to end the Zoom already. Something like that.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a
Yeah.
certain amount of camaraderie because we're all women, and I'm very much pro, women standing
I'm
with women. So
I'm
I have to disagree
I'm
here. We
I'm
are doing
I'm
fantastic.
I'm breaking up with you, Magdalena. We're This like after this is it. Like we're not.
You know you want.
I'm
You
not.
know
br-
you
I'm not bringing you flowers anymore.
No,
You're
your
not gonna
curiosity
plant
has
your
peaked, to
own
be
flower.
honest.
You don't get any more flowers. Okay. All right. Let's get into the speed run. All right. So the six needs. Some of you know these very well. The Tony Robbins six needs. So we got certainty, variety, significance, love, growth, and contribution. The things that you really like and you really enjoy. It's because they fulfill your needs. If they didn't fulfill your needs, you wouldn't enjoy these things. And then, so here we get into specifics and details. Sometimes something will fulfill two or three of our needs, and those things become addictions or habits. The things we really love, like for me, it's traveling. It fulfills all of my needs. I get certainty from it. I associate variety, and I had a high level significance. I feel important because I'm traveling and my friends are working their 9 to 5 jobs. Like I associate love and connection because I get to meet people and interact with, and I create relationships out of thin air. And sometimes these relationships flourish really well. Growth because I'm learning and I'm expanding. I'm Indiana Jonesing the world. And contribution because everybody I meet, I get to share and they get to share with me. So how do we, and then also on top of the six needs, here's another thing, emotions, thoughts, emotions, action, the T. Thoughts, emotions, action. That's the T. I love tea. Tea is one of my favorite things to have in the morning. Thoughts, emotions, actions. Tea. I actually have tea every morning. How do we associate positive thoughts, emotions, actions to something that we need to get doing? And also, how do we associate the fulfillment of our needs to those things that we need to do? Let's do about a minute each on this, and we'll start with whoever wants to go. Go ahead.
That's Angeli's, cup of tea, should I say?
Angela,
No pun intended.
I wanted to add teas, plural, because we also have that spiritual. So that spiritual piece comes all with all the bodies, but love that. I love the teas. I'm going to speak into what we spoke about earlier, since we're building on one another, and I'll speak from my personal experience of vulnerability. And everyone has touched about on traveling and how, and then it comes down to being okay with who you are, who you be, that self-love, that self-development, that moment by moment, getting to know what you love, your habits, what fulfills you, what brings you joy, all of those things. And traveling, I've come to realize that home is where your heart is. And so sometimes when we're looking for something outside of us, when we're looking for adventure, and it's not always the case, but my experience of myself when traveling, but pre kids, and telling myself that I'm not going to change my life because I have kids, and so they're going to travel with me. My intentions will be to create that space for them, to bring them along. And, sometimes it is not practical. And so coming back to traveling where your heart is and being okay with where you're at, whether you're not traveling, we talked about grandiose travels and how we feel lesser or lesser when we're not doing pageants, Tony. But coming down to that fullness, that beauty, that recognizing where you're at and being okay in that discomfort, being okay with the contrast, being okay with, wow, this is bringing up so much for me. And where do I get to grow and go and travel next? And so that inner travel being that outer sphere where you can travel anywhere and be fulfilled and content. That's what I'm going to share.
Love it. Inner travel. Oof.
Travel.
Who wants to follow that?
Be content anywhere, any beach, any grand, or
I
any
can
hole.
follow so that my turn is done. I'll go back to the T thoughts, emotions, and actions. So the question is, how do we create a positive
So
anchor with this, right?
yeah, anchor. That's better. Yeah, anchor.
Yeah, I mean, visualization. All starts with how do you visualize this like 10 years from now, 5 years from now, so that while you're doing the painful action steps like the exercising, but I'm visualizing already how I look like after a certain month of sacrificing or doing this discipline. What would always make me feel good is the end goal. Like why am I doing this in the first place? Like what's the end of it all? And ultimately, if it's something that I really, really, really want, of course it's gonna feel good in the long run. Visualization is my way of anchoring positive. It overrides the current pain points or hardships.
Yes, lovely. Visualization, association,
And
organization. Yeah, I've been reading a book on memory, and these are like the actual things that they say, like to work on for your memory. It's like visualizing something ridiculous, something memorable, then associate, different things with each other, and then organizing, how do
but that there are some people apparently like you'd be surprised they have a hard time visualizing. Like the first time I was surprised, like what you're just gonna imagine, but I figured out like my mentor told me because these are the people who are really into control, and even just the thought of visualizing something that they have no control of, they have a hard time imagining or visualizing anything. So yeah, not
yeah,
everyone
imagination. Yeah,
does have.
imagination is tough for if you're set certainty focused, like
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, so I think we lost.
Magdalena.
Go ahead. Go
I'm
ahead.
still here. My apologies. Still
Oh,
here.
okay. Because you said you had to leave it, at
I
the.
do get to leave in 5 minutes, but I do want to hear what Magdalene and Eleanor have to say and what we get to co-create. And Joe as well, because we haven't heard from you. So you get to loop in what your thoughts are on those teas.
Well, I'm gonna bring it all together at the end. You're gonna miss it, like so regrettably, but.
I'll listen to the
So
recording.
thoughts, feelings, or emotions to habits or actions, right? Ability of discernment. This is something that everybody should be working on. Discernment. Why? Because our thoughts are going to guide how we feel. So they're going to impact our feelings, and our feelings are going to be directly impacting whether something becomes a habit or not. So whether we do take action or not. So ability of discernment allows us to do two things. First of all, catch the thoughts that we are having so that we are able to discern, oh, this is exactly what I'm feeling. This is exactly the place where I'm at. This is exactly how I see this, which is then going to impact all the other things, and also give us the ability to reframe it. Meaning that if I do have that thought and it is not working well in terms of how it guides my emotions and the actions that I'm taking because of it, then I can reframe it so that it does have a positive impact on my emotions, on our feelings. And then through association, I'm going to take better actions that are going to lead me to better results. Quick enough?
Respect.
There you go.
Um,
Eleanor.
So, we are talking about thought, emotion, action, and what came to mind is really all thoughts and all emotion are valid, and you cannot be judged. Someone cannot be judged by their for their thought or emotion, but the action that we take because of those emotion or thoughts can be judged. And so we want to be able to really understand that, because I feel we live in an environment, in a society where emotion and thought become an excuse for an action. But we allow this as a collective. We allow this as like, oh, we have shifted from a society of responsibility, accountability, to an emotional society. And I don't think that's the way we evolve, because we should hold each other accountable and responsible for each action that we take.
That is brilliant. That's because people
So,
switch, right? They switch. Instead of starting
yeah,
from the thought into the emotion, into the action, they
yes,
start from emotion and let emotion guide their thoughts and their actions. And that's the wrong thing.
exactly.
That's being reactive
Yeah.
as opposed to responding. That is absolutely brilliant, Eleanor.
Angela, I thought you were gonna do an Irish goodbye. You just kind of like drift away like that. That's why you were like, I thought that.
As a person living in London, it's in English, not an Irish goodbye. Excuse me.
Oh, it's a. Well, you always gotta disagree with me. I told you we're not together anymore.
I do get to leave in a minute, but Eleanor, I love that responsibility piece, and I think we can be responsible emotionally as well. And so I think we get to take responsibility on all levels as a society where I love that. It was
But and this is what I will add. Like, for Angel's benefit, I'd say like I'll just add this little part. Where focus goes, energy flows. I would just like to suggest drifting away from like what's wrong with society and drift into what are we responsible for doing individually, and then how can we come together and do something here.
Well, since I'm leaving, I'll add my book is coming out in a month and it's called A Frequency Effect. And it really is starting from within, from that space of you are responsible for your thoughts, your actions, your intentions, all of that, all of what we talked about today. And if every single person comes from that space of responsibility, then we don't have anyone else to blame, or that's not what I'm saying, but what I mean is that place starts within. And if everyone starts from that space, then there is no room for anything else. And so that responsibility,
Put your links down here, and I'll also be doing a Facebook chat so you guys can mingle or like just connect, and then you can put it there as well.
cool. So in this chat,
Yeah, you can put it here, and or if you just want to wait, because I'm gonna do this later. I put a chat on Facebook, and then you can post it there so everybody can see it.
I'll post you my info, but also if you want to be on my wait list for my book, it is all about starting that frequency effect and how we do affect the collective. And I love that you use those words, Joe. Our energy is where it flows. And so whatever we engage in, and it is possible to tilt the scale of humanity when you start from that space and when you start from within, and when people come together like we do, complete strangers from all parts of the world, seeing and co-creating that. Yeah, I love that.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, Angel, we've overstayed our welcome with you because you were supposed to leave 2 minutes ago. So,
Eleanor, I'll say hello from Toronto tonight, wherever you are. Take care. Bye, everyone.
all right. So, where can we go from here? We got emotions, thoughts, actions. So, six needs and the T, thoughts, emotions, action. This is so interesting because thoughts, emotions, actions determine results, and that's what turns into a tier of happiness. And then the tiers of happiness lead to L, which is your lifestyle. Turl.
Okay, so what's the question?
Sorry.
Well, this is
What's the
so
point?
so we're gonna take a quick joke break here, just to ease the tension. What kind of tea is hard to drink? It's the hardest to drink.
What you're asking? What tea? The one that requires a lot of change, usually.
Yeah, reality.
You're supposed to eat the person.
Magdalena has perfected the art of looking unimpressed. Respect.
Now that's my actual face, the resting bitch face.
This is the actual.
That's my natural setting.
Bet, bet. Okay. Ooh. This is one for Magdalena. What kind of tea? What kind of tea is the best for connecting?
Why is this best for me? I don't know. What that jug you got on this one?
Vulnerability.
Oh,
Mhm.
I keep seeing this in your Facebook, Joe. I was like responding. Someone's answering your Facebook post. I'm like,
These are great jokes. I don't care. That's a punchline right there. This is a great
okay,
joke.
okay.
All right.
The only tea that every time we keep them talking about tea, the only tea that comes in my mind is gossip.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, is
true.
it gossip?
Yes.
What kind
True.
of tea is this?
A hot tea.
Hot take. Sheer hot take. Okay, so let's bring it all together.
Okay.
What do we have? Consistent daily habits, acceptance of the status quo. What if I allow myself to step out of my comfort? What works? We don't need to bloom all year. Not every day has to be a highlight reel. Pause and breathe. State of curiosity, state of awe. Finding your enemy, like who's gonna be your enemy that's gonna motivate you to compete for your competitiveness. Visualization, association, organization, emotions, thoughts, action, emotional society. Where focus goes, energy flows. Where can we bring this to? Now we're at the end here. So let's go to the last question, or the one before the last, which will be this. What would you like to tell your future self as a reminder? Let's say if right now, like you were to watch this in the future, what would you like to tell yourself to remind yourself of from this conversation? Or related that will be useful to you in the future? And also, what about somebody else that might listen in or watch this later on YouTube? What would you like to remind them
So
of?
never be afraid to speak your mind.
Hey, you're not afraid of that for sure.
That's why I'm gonna be happy looking at myself into a few years from now.
But so this is something you need to remind yourself. This why has there been a shift that you used to be like more shy before and then
No, I was even more confident than I am right now. I'm a little bit more mellow than I used to be. Obviously, with age, comes with age, there. But I did have a period of my life where I did forget about how to be confident, how to be not afraid. It's not even about being outspoken itself, but not afraid to speak up what was on my mind. And I remember this very pivotal situation. I remember my son, he was very, very tiny, and he came to me. I was watching one of my videos from previous years. I used to be a professional dancer, and he looked at it and he said, "Mummy, when I grow up, I want to be just like you." So I said, "Well, what do you mean?" I was scared he wants to, wear a tutu and dance. But what he actually meant was, I want to be as confident as you are. And it actually hit me. You have absolutely no idea. In that particular moment, I think I was at the lowest point of my life when it comes to my confidence. And it hit me so much because I felt like a fraud. I thought, oh my God, child, do you think I'm so confident? I need to go back to that place where I actually was. And I think it was a motivational factor for me to find myself again and find that spot in which I was completely fine with myself. I think you ladies have mentioned this in the very beginning, so it's a nice full circle of being really feeling good with myself and feeling confident enough to say, this is what I believe in, this is what I'm going to say to other people. I take full responsibility for it, and I feel good with myself doing it, first and foremost. So yes, do not.
Okay, that's a great point. The essence of that is what kind of tea? What are we trying to avoid there?
Just say it. Jesus.
Insecurity. You know,
Gosh, Joe.
we have all drank that tea. Insecurity.
See how much entertainment you've had because of
Oh,
me
you
today.
remind me of Black Eyed Peas song about
Which one?
humanity. Where's the love? Feels like you're rapping already.
Yeah, yes, but yeah, insecurity is so big. I mean, that one hits hard for me because I've been the confident guy, and then I've been an insecure guy too. And it's important to remind myself that hey, like you might feel this way. Let's get out of that. Like this is not a useful state to be in. Insecure. Like it's good surprise, positive insecurity when you're excited, and then I'll add this and then I'll pass it on, which is fear. Insecurity is fear. Here's a reframe for fear. I'm feeling excited and I'm ready.
And always remembering this every single feeling that you have, everything you feel, it's only temporary, it's never permanent. And it's always up to you if you want to change it. You always
Yeah.
can put yourself in a different mind frame, different state, different place,
Yes.
right? Like traveling. But it's up to that decision that you have to make yourself.
Yeah,
It's only
I'll give you a quick example. Like I've been going to the beach every morning since the beginning of the year. In the past 2 weeks, this never happened to me. I got stung by jellyfish like 5 times in the past 2 weeks. I got stung by something, boom, here, boom, boom. Like different days, like once, and then and 2 days later I got stung again, and then boom. And then the last time I got stung twice in both legs. And I'm like, what is this? Like I've been going to the beach for months and no stings, like nothing like this. And then I started feeling fear. I started feeling insecure about this thing that I love, getting in the water in the morning and just enjoying myself in the morning. And then yesterday, when I was insecure about getting in the water, I see these little bugs under the wet sand. And they were like moving around when the sand went, and I'm like, what is this? This is gross. What is this? Like, am I stepping on these things? Are they gonna bite me? I think there were like baby crabs like under the sand. It looks so disgusting. I'm like, man, first the jellyfish and now this. I'm afraid now. What the hell? Like, I don't want to get in the water now. So today I went to a different beach and then I didn't see those little critters. So I got in. So it's like fear is not a rational thing. It's something that feels like it's gonna be a dangerous thing to do, and most of the time it's not. So, but yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Well, if you're putting jellyfishes and other creatures in it, that fear is kind of like valid because something is something like you might, like it's a kind of valid fear. But I would like to add scientifically that most of our emotions only really last 90 seconds. If it lasts more than 90 seconds, it's because of it's our thoughts already that's prolonging that certain emotions. So our initial reaction is always like the 90 seconds, it's the initial reaction, but once you go beyond that, it's your thoughts already. So I just wanted to add that if it's not something like if it's an irrational fear, not something like there's an actual threat in front of you, so I think your fear is valid.
I
No,
disagree.
no.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it,
You're
Magdalena.
starting to imagine. Well, if you're
My
starting to
energy,
I'm
look,
doing
see,
it.
imagine.
my energy is brushing up on him now. He's now starting to disagree.
I'm doing it, Magdalena now. No, you're wrong. You're wrong. Eleanor, Eleanor, what would you like to tell your future self? What kind of message, what kind of reminder do you wanna give yourself in the future when you watch this over?
I don't think it's a message for my future self, but more for someone watching this. It's okay to surround yourself with people that have different view and different culture and different background because it will allow you to grow. That's the only way to grow. You will not be able to grow with surrounded by yes people all the time to everything you do and every action you take. It will only build ego.
It's okay unless you're Charlie Kirk. Too soon?
So
Too
Yes,
soon?
so
it's okay
Too
if
soon.
unless what?
Unless you're Charlie Kirk. Too soon.
oh,
Too soon.
I'm sorry.
Too
oh my
soon.
god.
It's bad, I know. Too soon. Too soon.
I'm sorry.
All right. All right. So, final word. One word, one phrase, one sentence that would summarize this for you. And we'll
Um,
wrap it up nicely in a nice little bow to give this to whoever's going to watch.
I think like really what you guys said, we don't need to bloom all year. This is the one of the most beautiful thing, and because we all need to understand that, to hear that, and to really yeah, not everything has to be, a fashion show or whatever, like Instagram post. So
Tony, Maggie, Magdalena, Tony. What do you disagree with, Magdalena? What do you disagree with?
No, I agree with that. I agree with everything. I'm hungry now, so I just like, I'm gonna agree with everything as long as I can go and eat.
Yeah, and on my side,
Wait,
okay,
wait, so it only happens when you're not hungry?
No, but when I'm hungry, I kind of like, yeah. No, everything's beautiful. So
yeah.
far, what Eleanor said is something that I absolutely believe in. And yeah, the joke about Charlie was too soon, definitely. That's the only thing I'm going to disagree with.
Sure, no, for sure, no.
Did not appreciate that. But yeah, true though. Unfortunately, the sad world. But yeah, you don't have to put pressure on yourself and try and put your foot on the gas all the time because first of all, I don't know which one of you ladies said about the Instagram post. It never will be. Life isn't an Instagram post, and I'm not here to say that life is completely shit and everything is bad and just everything is sad and everybody's negative. That's not the message of it. But realistically speaking, majority of our existence is going to be normal, plain, and everyday type of existence. It's not going to be a showreel. It's not going to be a highlight. And pretending that it is otherwise is counterproductive for yourself and for everybody else.
Well, in connection to that, and my journey this year has always been finding joy in the mundane thing, like errands, the dishes, the laundry. I used to be like always on the go, like I need to. This is a waste of time, and I need to be efficient. But this year, it's just like, human.
And
This is
that's
part
what's
of
beautiful,
life.
isn't it, Tony? That's what's
Like the
beautiful.
mundane things are actually.
Being able to be happy from things that are absolutely normal
Mhm.
makes you so much happier overall as a human being.
You don't have to be always stimulated with,
Exactly.
doing
Seek the
more.
thrill and chase things around, trying to force people into something or force yourself into something, because those everyday little things are beautiful enough, and life is so beautiful, it's so precious every single day, that's what changes your perspective completely. It's gonna affect every single thing that we've spoke about today, the goals, the dreams, the visualizations, the opinions, the worldview, everything is going to become more beautiful once you learn to appreciate the small things.
For me, it's always about I'm not in a hurry. Like all these people, especially when driving, everyone's always in a hurry. I'm like, oh, go ahead. Like, where are you guys going? What are you gonna do when you get it? Like, everyone's in a hurry. So like, I'm the one who's like Joe said. But to be fair, in my defense, I think the only reason we're in a hurry here because you're really timing us. But yeah, that's my journey. And like before coming here, I was in my yoga sound healing class because that's my non-negotiable. Even I was like not feeling it, but I'm committed to it because that's the time where I just lie down there. I pay money to just lie down there and do nothing. And it's very like, yes, I pay. Like my friends would like, you pay money to just like, yes, because that's what we don't do anymore. Like,
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean,
just,
why would anybody hire like a personal trainer? You could go work out on your own.
yeah.
Because like they'll make you do something that you need to do, and then that would be the answer of the question. Like that, I mean, that would be one of the answers. You could play with your mind all you want, play tricks with your mind and stuff, but at the end of the day, like if you get somebody and you pay somebody to help you do what you need to do, that's a great way to do it. Like Tony says, it's like his best resource is having a coach. But why is that? Like I don't think many people understand. It's because most people can't do the stuff they need to
Yeah.
do themselves. So they need to hire someone to get them to do the stuff they need to do.
And
Whatever
if you
works.
don't mind, a little shameless plug, because I have to go, guys, now. It's
Okay,
on the
yeah.
dot
Bye.
minutes.
Thanks for
Yeah, so before I go, if you do want to be able to speak up your mind and build a brand like Tony Robbins, where people just follow you and rave about you and gather around you and support you, please come to me, Magdalena Hanna, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, to TikTok, wherever you want, or just go to www.magdalenahanna.com, and I'm going to send you love. I'm not going to disappear you anymore, I promise.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It was lovely to meet you guys.
The Facebook chat and then we'll connect then.
Alrighty then. Bye bye bye. Thanks, Joe.
This
Thank you,
is a
everybody.
mastermind brain.